Hello everybody, it is me Smilo here, and I'm here with Wooly and Crougar, along with our other Ice Age friends, Dirus, Smilus, Morgan, and Perot. And the reason why we're making this video is because we were absolutely fascinated by the stuff that we learned on our last trip to White Sands, and what it was like thousands to millions of years ago. So we thought we'd teach you about the geology and the prehistory about White Sands. Like a mirage, dazzling white sand dunes shimmer in the tucked away Tularosa Basin in southern New Mexico. They shift and settle over the Chihuahuan Desert, covering 270 square miles, the largest gypsum dune field in the world. And despite the white sand, unless there's a full moon, it may not be as bright as you might think at night. White Sands National Park preserves more than half of this oasis, its shallow water supply, and the plants and animals living here. So what is gypsum? Gypsum is a soft sulfate mineral composed of calcium sulfate dihydrate. The minerals that form the dunes of white sand is about 98% pure gypsum sand. The rise and the fall of sea levels millions of years ago started the process of making gypsum sand. When the Permian Sea retreated millions of years ago, it left behind deep layers of gypsum that was deposited on the sea floor. When the body of water evaporated, mountains rose and carried the gypsum high. Later, water from the retreating glaciers dissolved the mineral and returned it to the basin. Today, rain and snow continue this process. For thousands of years in the shallow lakes, wind and sun have separated the water from the gypsum and formed selenite crystals. Wind and water break down the crystals, making them smaller until they are sand. Steady, strong southwest winds keep gypsum sand moving, piling it up and pushing dunes into various shapes and sizes. Beneath your feet, the glue that holds this vast dune field together, water, inches below the surface. Compared to other dune types, gypsum dunes remain moist during the longest droughts. This moisture prevents the dunes from blowing away. Water becomes older and saltier towards the center of the dune field. Here, the shallow water table can rise to the surface after heavy rains, turning the interdune areas into temporary ponds. As dunes move, they leave behind areas that soon fill with plants. Sand vermina survives because it flowers and disperses seeds in one growing season. It also quickly spreads shallow roots. As sand buries a soap tree yucca, its stem grows longer to keep new leaves above the sand, but after the dune moves on, the exposed yucca will soon fall over and die. New plants emerge as passing dunes bury older plants. A few shrubs like the skunk bush sumac grow dense, deep roots that help form a pedestal of sand after the dune moves on. Kit foxes dig their dens in the pedestals, and other animals find shelter here too. Which brings us to the animals that inhabit White Sands. White Sands is home to a special set of species that were able to adapt to the harsh conditions in the desert. Mammals such as bobcats, coyotes, badgers, kit foxes, jackrabbits, and other small rodents call White Sands home, as well as reptiles such as lizards, rattlesnakes, and gopher snakes. Even birds such as roadrunners and ravens, as well as insects and arachnids like tarantulas, scorpions, beetles, and tarantula hawk wasps. Some creatures are a lighter color than the same species in nearby deserts. Lighter color reflects the heat, which keeps them cooler and offers better camouflage. Most creatures like the kit fox are nocturnal and prefer to come out during the night when the air is cooler. And speaking of cooler, now on to what White Sands was like during the last ice age. Long before the world's largest gypsum dune fields formed, the Tularosa Basin looked very different. Before the Pleistocene epoch ended about 10,000 years ago, there were giant lakes, streams, and grasslands. The climate was wetter and cooler, producing a lot more rain and snow than today. All this water created one of the largest lakes in the southwest called Lake Altero, and it is larger than the state of Rhode Island. Under this wetter environment, the basin teemed with life. Along with the small rodents we have today, there were also enormous Ice Age mammals that roamed the shores of Lake Altero and the surrounding grasslands. They once crossed the Tularosa Basin where the white sand dunes lie today. How do we know these incredible animals were here? Well, they left their footprints behind. As these ancient giants walked the muddy shores of Lake Otero, their body weight compressed the wet clay and gypsum, creating footprints that can be found today. In the ever-changing environment of our shifting sands, these fragile tracks are uncovered by the wind before rapidly eroding away. Early humans also left their footprints behind. They arrived at the Tularosa Basin at the end of the last ice age about 11 to 10,000 years ago, where they left their footprints behind only to be discovered 10,000 years later. White Sands has the largest collection of fossilized human footprints. Their footprints can also be found amongst the tracks of the mighty Ice Age giants that roamed the Tularosa Basin. Early humans lived amongst these prehistoric giants and may have even hunted them. About 11,000 years ago, along the shore of Lake Otero, the Harlan's ground sloth left its tracks behind. Fossilized human footprints have been found sitting inside the tracks of the ground sloth. This suggests that early humans may have literally followed in the steps of these massive creatures and hunted them down. Scientists are studying these footprints to gain a better understanding of this ancient ecosystem and the mighty mammals that used to live here. With many tracks having disappeared only after 2 years, who knows what else is out there waiting to be discovered. If you'd like to check out some of the stuff we have here on our shelf right here where we're all sitting. So right here we have the bottom jaw of a coyote right there. And then we have a replica of a bobcat skull right here. And then of course I'm sure you all remember our saber-toothed cat, our Smilodon skull right here. And then we have a coyote skull right here. And then a bobcat skull right here. These two are real skulls if you're wondering. Then we even have a little bobcat fang right there. And two little leg bones that probably belong to small rodents. And then we have this little arrowhead right here that was probably used for hunting by early humans. But this one's our newest addition to our fossil collection. If you're wondering what it is the hand claw of a giant ground sloth. So yeah, this is our little fossil collection, and these are animals that could be found out in white sands. One of the most well-known predators of the Ice Age, saber-toothed cats are famous for their oversized canine teeth, which could grow to about 6 to nearly 12 inches in length, standing a little over a meter tall, and possibly weighing at 600 to nearly 800 pounds. Saber-toothed cats would have had a much more muscular build, similar to a bear rather than a cat, which allowed them to take down large prey animals like sloths, bison, and even mammoths. Saber-toothed cats likely use their intimidating teeth for slashing and stabbing at the prey's throat or belly in ambush attacks. Some fossil evidence even suggests that these prehistoric felines may have even hunted in packs. Columbian mammoths are responsible for the mammoth tracks found here at White Sands. These mammoths were massive animals, standing at about 13 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing about 18,000 to 22,000 pounds. They had large, curved tusks and rigid teeth for eating plants. Because of their massive size and herbivorous diet, they would have had to eat a lot. Some scientists say this could have added up to 16 to 18 hours a day of eating. One surprising thing about these giant herbivores is that they probably didn't have as much fur. Unlike the more well-known woolly mammoth, who evolved in colder regions, Columbian mammoths evolved in North America. Climates here were warmer, so they would not have needed such thick fur coats. Direwolves were once one of the most common predators that lived in North America during the Pleistocene. Standing a little over 2 feet tall, the direwolf was slightly larger than modern-day gray wolves, but with a heavier and more muscular build. They had powerful jaws and a bite force stronger than modern-day gray wolves, and probably hunted in packs. This pack hunting combined with their bulky frames would have allowed direwolves to hunt large prey like horses and bison. During the Pleistocene, lions did not just live in Africa. Large lion-like cats lived throughout the world, like the American lion, which are found in North America, standing at about 4 feet tall at the shoulder and possibly weighing over 700 to maybe even 800 pounds. American lions were one of the largest felines to have ever existed. Some scientists debate whether American lions were actually lions or a completely separate species, but whatever they were surely fierce predators with long, slender legs well suited for chasing down prey. They would have likely hunted by ambush, preying upon animals like deer, camels, and bison. One of the more bizarre animals of the Pleistocene was a giant ground sloth, which were ancient relatives of modern-day tree sloths, armadillos, and anteaters. The Harlan's ground sloth, however, would have dwarfed any modern relatives. This massive animal stood about 6 feet tall, or maybe even taller when upright, and weighed over a ton. They had a slow, waddling walk and left kidney bean-shaped footprints created as their back feet rotated inwards while walking. Some prints have even appeared bipedal, possibly caused by the large hind feet covering the tracks of the smaller front feet. This has caused ground sloth tracks in the past to be mistaken for the tracks of giant humans. These giant herbivores lived in grasslands with permanent water sources. Camels are commonly associated with Africa, but did you know that they actually originated in North America? Several now extinct camel species once roamed this continent, such as the ancient western camel. It had longer legs, standing up to 7 feet tall at the shoulder. This Pleistocene giant probably looked a lot like modern-day one-humped dromedary camels. These camels were opportunistic herbivores and ate whatever plant material they could find. They grazed and browsed over large ranges, leaving behind distinctive footprints like the ones found here at White Sands. How remarkable that these magnificent Ice Age giants used to call the Tularusa Basin their home and left behind their tracks only to be discovered 10,000 years later. We could probably be walking amongst their ghosts without even knowing it. All we can do is dig for the answers in order to uncover the truth. We even have a little booklet from White Sands, and one of the pages is about the prehistoric Ice Age giants. And here it is. This is the page to the little booklet. Yeah, walk with giants. 20,000 years ago, camels, lions, giant ground sloths, and mammoths called this place their home. These animals are extinct, but they left their footprints behind in the gypsum. And then here we had to match the animals with their tracks. So we got giant ground sloths, ancient camels, American lions, and dire wolves, and Colombian mammoths right here. So feel free to pause the video if you want to read any of this information right here. So we had to compare their tracks. And then right here, some information about this giant ground sloth right here. So yeah, there's a lot of evidence that there were prehistoric sloths in white sands. And then it says to compare your height compared to this giant ground sloth. On average, humans could probably reach about 6 feet. So you'd probably be about this tall, a 6-foot human. But us, we'd probably be somewhat about a foot. Some of us are under a foot and some of us are slightly above a foot. So we'd probably be right here somewhere. So yeah, pretty big giant ground sloth. And then we had to answer this question, how long do you think your footprints would remain? And we just put, I don't know, whenever Mother Nature decides to cover them up. So yeah, this is the Ice Age page on this little White Sands booklet right here. So now you know why all our Ice Age friends are here and why we're so fascinated with white sand. There's a lot more to this national monument than just the white sand and a popular tourist attraction. And like I've mentioned many times, me, Wooly, and Crougar came from the gift shop at the White Sands Visitor Center. But unfortunately, they don't have us in stock anymore. Feel free to check out our last video from our trip to White Sands. And also feel free to check out our playlist of all our Ice Age adventures. We'll leave a link for those in the description. That's it for now, folks. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share content, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys later.